Here we are flying the F-5C with the aggressor skin, and some of you guys probably bought this thing and thought I'm not having the best time with it, and I don't blame you. 10.3, if you get a down tier like this one, you get an absolutely insane little plane. I'm running 20 minutes of fuel in down tiers, min fuel in the up tiers, and here I got an 8 kill game for you with an ace in about 31 seconds. Pretty damn quick, personal fastest, and I figured I wanted to show this off. However, this plane has some little drawbacks, and I will cover all of those things pretty soon here, but getting into this fight, I'm just gonna let the music play. There's not much to talk about, it's just gonna take away from the experience. We'll sit back and watch the next 31 seconds. Missed the last shot, unfortunately, completely under lead, but those 30 seconds go by pretty damn quick. But this thing, well, it is good. At a 10.3 level, it's an extremely good plane. The problem is, most of your games are not going to be looking like this, and they're going to be looking like, well, the game I will show you after this one. Fighting 10.7s, fighting 11.0s especially, is actually pretty annoying, and underlapped my guns twice on this guy, and your guns will just be your main killing power. The aim 9Es on this thing are really just glorified 9Bs, they don't pull that well. Of course, when a Yak 38 is stalled out, it will hit, but this SU-7 for example is barely moving at all. If that was a 9J, he would be toast. But it's only 10.3, and this is the main difference you will have between the F-5A and the F-5C. The flares and the missiles, and that's the main thing. In Era B, of course, these guns still reach quite far, and within a kilometer you can hit them quite reliably if you have some decent aim. The guns hit pretty hard, but especially in these up tiers they do kind of let you down sometimes, and that's just mainly because, well, SU-17s, the Phantoms that are now on both sides of the spectrum, they are pretty tanky, and these guns, you only have 2 of them and you're not the fastest, so most of the time you won't get much time on target. Of course, if people are slow and you can jump them, this thing is quite insane, you're not really going to shake it off. But how often does that really happen? Most of the time people will just be running away from you, just like this J72 will do. And the J72 is not even the fastest or the best accelerating plane of this BR, even more so when you consider that right now 11.0 is just your main matchmaker, and you are going to be seeing 10.7 and 11.0s almost every game. If that changes, if this thing is going to stay at 10.3 and you're going to be seeing 9.7 to 10.7 almost every game, this thing becomes extremely powerful. But do keep in mind, if you don't have the best aim, or rather if you have poor aim, you're not going to get the most amount of, well, worthwhile money out of this thing. Do I think it's worth it? In terms of a grinder, for 10.3 premium, 60 Gaijin, yes, it's expensive, but if you do these events, you can probably sell something like the MiG-21 PFM and get a premium out of it, which is, in my opinion, pretty good. But again, this is not a noob friendly plane, and I'm showing you my best case scenario here. I did not have the best experience in this plane. I had a lot of games where I just didn't get a kill. I'm not fast enough and my missiles aren't good enough, so I'm kind of just flying around, and it's a little bit like what you have in a MiG-19. You're flying around in the MiG-19, remember when that thing was 10.0, you know, the BR it should be, but remember when that was 10.0 and you just kind of chased after people and everyone ran away from you. That's exactly what this thing is like, and if that doesn't sound interesting to you, then don't fly it. If you're good at the game, if you know what you're doing, you can probably get some fun out of this, but keep in mind the F-5E is free, and if you're good at the game, you probably already have some high tier jets. One little tip about this plane: the acceleration of this plane is not the best, but at like Mach 0.8 till Mach 0.95 the acceleration is almost 1-to-1, which is really good. Try to not get rammed by my teammate there, because that F-5C, that almost made me shit my pants, but he didn't ram me, which is good. 7 kill down, and the reason I caught him so easily was because I tried to stay around Mach. the closer you are to Mach 0.95, the better your acceleration is going to be. It's actually insane how much power this thing puts out. But that's only at that speed. And if you try, and you can look at this video as well, there's some moments where I'm trying to do an horizontal turn at about Mach, and you'll see that I really keep my speed well. And the moment I drop below that, that speed really starts dropping quite quickly. You start pulling a little bit harder, and acceleration just kind of drifts down a little bit. And if you look at the first engagement again at the start of the video, that 5 kill quick cleanup, you see that I'm keeping my speed quite well for quite a long time, and then once I go below 800, below 900, that speed just starts dropping really quickly. MiG-19 has been engaged for the last 2-3 minutes. He has been pretty busy, and now he's outrunning everyone. He's not on his afterburners, he's probably very low on fuel. I'm just on a 6. He's not going to be shaking me off, my roll rate is too good. I'm passing out a little bit here because I'm a little bit too fast. Throttle drop, set him on fire. Managed to miss the last burst. A little bit of compression, doesn't really matter. And he goes into the ground. And that's 8 kill. And of course I am going to show you the scoreboard. Because well, most of you guys are probably flying this thing because they're grinding. But keep in mind, as I just said, you really have to just jump people. You are a support fighter. And being a support fighter is actually code language or Morse code or whatever you want to call it for the plane isn't actually that good, and you have to fly it kind of like a rat, licking up the scraps, licking up basically crippled people, or ground pounding. Again, the ground ordnance, if you want to fly it in ground or be my guest. I'm not sure what lineup it goes at 10.3, but the F-5C is simply going to do that better as well, which I will cover pretty soon here. I already flew it a little bit today. Here's your resource points. The thing is, you're not going to get the most amount of RP. That's an 8 kill game and only 10,000 RP. Keep that in mind. The games are short, so even when you get an extremely good game, you're probably going to not get that much. Su-17, fly behind him. He's completely occupied with going for the base. Instantly shoot his tail off. I don't want him to bomb, so I shoot his other wing off as well. A little bit of a BM, but I don't want to lose on tickets, even though these games aren't very fast. And now I am flying it on min fuel, which makes it a little bit more responsive, a little bit better acceleration, but of course you don't really have the endurance, and basically everyone outfuels you now, which isn't very fun. You can of course go back to the runway. I have been doing it a little bit here and there, low on fuel, and I say in chat I'm not gonna camp because I don't want people to fly towards the airfield and then 3 people simply die to AA, and they essentially, well, they killed themselves. I would have taken off, I would have just dogfired them, but they insisted on following me back to the airfield, even though there's multiple people alive. Do not go near the airfield, it's not worth it. Don't try it. MiG-23, extremely sad plane right now. It's on the wrong side of the matchmaker because America is just winning quite a bit, at least in my experience. But I've said this before the patch too, and not everyone agree with this. And the MiG-23 is just kind of a shit boat. Get a crit. Just pulling in. I've got to start a dogfight here. He's falling his wings out, which is good. Second guy coming in. MiG-21, and pay a very close attention to the chat because he has been talking to me. At least he's going to start talking to me in a second here. Flares some more, and our 60s are quite susceptible to flares, which is very good. Would have rammed that guy if I wouldn't pull out. And then he said, "Come on boy, I want to show you some love." Well, that's quite unfortunate because you're going to die about 2 seconds later. MiG-23 ejects, he's completely crippled, he's not going to be doing much anymore, and the MiG-21 is just going to fly in front of me after I already crit him. And there goes the second part of his plane. I think I killed his engine here, he's not afterburning, he's falling out of the air. He's really not going to be doing much anymore, I'm just going to be a cleanup. And there he goes again. Those flares saved you so bad? Yeah, they sure did. Maybe next time you try going for guns, because I'm only going 600 kph, and then don't turn straight into my guns after talking shit in chat. Or you can just keep taking these L's, it's completely up to you. Telling this guy I'm on the right, he didn't notice me because I don't have my RWR, I don't have a radar on. Quite funny because I don't have a radar. And I broke off here. Is that a good idea? No. What I wanted to do is show you a 1v1 with a MiG-21. So well, that's a plane that's similar BR, people call it bad, it's quite maneuverable, so I wanted to show you on min fuel what I can do versus a MiG-21. So I break off again, I let him merge for the second time. And I thought maybe we're going to get a stall fight. Maybe we are going to get a nice little fight. Pre-flare there in case he's pre-warming a R60. so that it doesn't go for me. I go up and look at my speed bleed, it's absolutely insane, and he dies away. Why does he do this? I have no clue. Lock him up, I simply want him to turn. Aim 9E on the way, probably not going to hit, but I want him to turn, I want him to feel pressure, and he does. He starts turning, I'm catching him now pretty rapidly. I'm starting to cut into this turn, I still have full ammo, so I'm going to use all my ammo. Get a crit on him, and up we go. Suffers damage of right wing, probably black wing root, which means he's gonna hang to one side because of the asymmetric lift, and he's going to lose even more speed than he already did because it's still an MF, because he has a black wing root, and black components make you bleed even more speed, make your acceleration worse because of the drag that it creates. And that's all I have for you today. Not the most enjoyable plane in my experience, but maybe you like it. I can make that decision for you. See you all in the next one, which is probably going to be tomorrow.